For Kai, their paths just happen to cross at the perfect moment. He is so chill about it, but Mir knows sticking with him is right. If she had stayed with the sage, she would have lost control. She would have rushed in alone and died for absolutely nothing. Her master likely knew that all along. Now her mission is complete. Kai asks what she will do next, but she has not thought ahead. I know what you're thinking, she's lost. Kai suggests taking her time. Elves live for centuries, after all, but Mir quickly corrects his assumption. She is only a half-elf, so her lifespan is not that long. She just wants to stay with Kai. He asks if she is sure. He is going after the Demon King, but she is totally on board. If that monster is dead, no one else has to suffer like her. She is ready to follow Kai anywhere, even if he tells her to scram. This time, he does not push her away. Instead, he explains their move. They need to find clues before the enemy reinforcements show up. Mir is practically glowing, seeing she is finally part of the team. So, the duo sneaks out of the city after dropping a heavenly king. But high above, a spatial rift pops open, and there stands Isabel. With a bored look on her face, she watches them vanish away. Isabel admits these two did way better than she ever expected them to. She thought they would escape, but they actually managed to kill Vimberg. Her cold, expressionless face finally breaks into a terrifyingly beautiful smile. With these two in play, her master plan is going to be smooth. And that is where we leave it for now. The journey is beginning. They vanish into the wilderness, dodging every demon patrol on their way. All right, you and I are heading back to the mountains, where Kai and Mir are giving the sage their full debrief. Ilana is just glad they made it back alive. But honestly, killing a heavenly demon that fast. It totally shocked her. When Mir tried to explain the details, the sage stopped her. She already knew exactly what her star pupil was thinking inside. Ilana could feel Mir's desire to stick by Kai's side, so she gave her full blessing. The sage hoped for their success, maybe as partners or even something a bit more romantic. With that settled, Ilana asked Kai if he'd heard the latest news from the front lines. Intrigued, he asked for more info. As it turns out, the situation is looking pretty grim. Kai's old classmates, the hero candidates, just got absolutely wrecked in their battle. Hearing that Meidu and the crew failed, Kai wondered what kind of monster they faced. Albana explained that reports show they fought Stone Gaia, a top executive in the demon army. As the heavenly king of Earth, he holds the same terrifying rank as Vimberg himself. Now pay attention, because here's the question Kai was actually worried about. The big question. Were there any deaths? Luckily, the whole group managed to escape with their lives. Still, their confidence was totally shattered. For now, Kai decided to just wait and watch. Since he wants the Demon King dead, he plans to let his classmates do the dirty work. He figures he can use them to slowly bleed the demon army's resources and power. He might even use the entire class as decoys to hunt the other heavenly kings. Mir then asked if the other heroes were as insanely strong as Kai is. To be fair, Kai wasn't sure. They had talent, but without proper skill, power is useless. You feel that too, right? Let's check in on the heroes back at Fort Truss. They bunked down for the night, but the fort's medical ward was completely overflowing now. Wounded soldiers were everywhere, suffering from the aftermath of that failed assault on the demons. Even the elite hero candidates didn't walk away from this fight without some scars. Meidu was covered in injuries, and Hano was desperately trying to patch him up. He gave her a weak smile, telling her not to exhaust her limited healing energy. Hano knew she was pushing her limits, but she just wanted to feel useful for once. So Meidu just sat there, letting the soft glow of her magic close his deep wounds. Just a few hours ago, their entire strategy against Stone Gaia had completely crumbled. If Hinrich hadn't saved them, they would have been dead right there on the field. Meidu could see the pain in everyone, not just physical, but their spirits were broken. Riina stared at nothing, her eyes hollow. Arashi hid his face in absolute shame. Meidu squeezed his fist, fuming with anger. He took the whole defeat very personally. In his mind, their failure was his fault. His leadership had been a disaster. If he had just been strong enough to solo that heavenly king, everyone would be safe. Meanwhile, over at Fort Arl, the demon forces were still holding their ground. The massive fortress looked like a total nightmare to conquer for any human army. High up on a tower, the powerful heavenly king Stone Gaia was just relaxing in the wind. Meanwhile, Kai was secretly spying on the fort from a distance, keeping completely out of sight. He made sure not to get caught. You see, his eyes were seriously on a different level now. He could easily spot a target from miles away. Even Mir, who knows her magic, was shocked by how far the main character can see. It's his appraisal skill. Every time it levels up, it unlocks even crazier visual powers. The elf girl is actually starting to wonder how he has such a perfect set of skills. Trust me, you and I are going to want to see what Kai does next. Stick with me, Kai just managed to peek at Stone Gaia's insane stats. This heavenly king is a monster in demonic earth arts and sword skills. Kai triggers his upgraded appraisal skill, and boom, it finally pays off. He gets a full breakdown of the enemy's terrifying power levels here. At level 4, appraisal goes way deeper, revealing all of Stone Gaia's skills. But what he really wants to test is his new weak point detection. He scans the demon, but nothing. Now, pay attention, this is a problem. Kai just isn't high level enough to spot openings from this far away yet. Man, if every boss had a glaring weak point, life would be easy. Still, Kai has a solid scouting report on every single one of his skills. Plus, Mir can summon water spirits thanks to her incredible magical knowledge. That's huge because earth types are naturally weak against water elements here. It's basically a classic type advantage, but remember, strategy still matters most. Power isn't everything. Every fight comes down to how you use your skills. Stone Gaia knows plenty of earth arts, but likely only mastered a few. Finding his specialty is exactly how Mir plans to exploit a weak spot. Since they're already here, scouting another demon lair is the smart move. Meanwhile, back at Fort Truss, the hero candidates are struggling after their loss. Midu is taking it the hardest. His pride is absolutely in tatters right now. He wonders if Kai could have saved them, but he hates that thought. To Midu, relying on others is just a fancy way of running away. He believes hard work is the only path, no matter how much it hurts. Right as he's about to scream his frustration, his classmates suddenly show up. They know Midu always tries to carry the entire world on his shoulders. Riina sees right through him. Their leader is drowning in his own guilt. Narumi tells him to snap out of it because the game isn't over. One by one, they promise him he doesn't have to face this alone. He asks if they still want him to lead. Honestly, a silly question. They all agree there is no one else they would rather follow here. Narumi speaks for the whole group. It is time for Midu to trust them. I know what you're thinking, and yeah, seeing his friend's loyalty, it hits deep. For the first time in forever, a real smile actually touches Midu's face. Narumi points out that everyone has leveled up and gotten way stronger now. Midu can finally stop trying to hard carry every single battle by himself. Just as the mood lightens, the whole squad becomes complete once again. Another group arrives. Arashi and his battered crew have dragged themselves here. Even from their hospital beds, they came out to show their fighting spirit. The delinquent boss immediately mocks Midu for looking so pathetic and weak. He demands they start planning a second round against that stone bastard. Everyone is shocked that Arashi actually showed up to unite with the class. He's clearly annoyed they failed the first time, but he's not quitting now. He's ready to follow Midu's lead to ensure they crush Stone Gaia next. The rest of the class is thrilled to see Arashi finally joining them. With a new fire in his heart, Midu declares they are going back. You and I are about to see a legendary rematch against that demon. Stick with me, Midu is about to show a determined side. While everyone else was laughing and getting hyped, Kaki stayed quiet, watching from a distance. She was glad her classmates finally united, but she still worried. They had zero plans to actually defeat Stone Gaia. Those worries vanished instantly when she heard Kai call out her name. She looked over and spotted Kai chilling by the stairs. He warned her to stay quiet because he didn't want any unwanted attention. Kaki immediately obeyed, covering her mouth to keep from making any excited sounds. Kai was there to confirm everything that happened during that Heavenly King battle. He grilled Kaki for every single detail about Stone Gaia's demonic arts. After Kaki gave her report, Kai finally understood Stone Gaia's fighting style, specifically how he controlled those golems. Kai was now absolutely certain. The demon's style relied on that specific demonic art, just as Mayer predicted. But when Kai mentioned another woman's name, Kaki's blood pressure spiked instantly. Kai refused to say anything more, simply thanking her for the intel. Kaki nervously asked if he would actually help the class this time. Kai thought about it, but after seeing everyone's resolve, he hesitated. He didn't want to mess with the team's growing chemistry just yet. Now watch this, Kai decides to stay working in the shadows instead. He would handle the tough stuff behind the scenes. Days later, Fort Arl enjoyed some brief peace after that human attack. Meanwhile, on the outskirts, the hero candidates gathered in secret for another assault. They even welcomed back Yumi, a classmate who quit after those traumas. Yumi used to be in Riena's group, and Riena was overjoyed. With that, Yumi officially joined the upcoming expedition to Fort Arl. Some classmates asked why she suddenly decided to rejoin the combat party. After leaving before, Yumi claimed she heard everyone was having trouble. She just wanted to do something for the class, she told them. You feel that too, right? Something about Yumi's story feels off. 5 days earlier, she was actually working non-stop at a local inn. She was completely exhausted as a waitress every single day since then. Then she walked into her room, and there stood Kai. He greeted her as if breaking into someone's private space was normal. Maybe it was the fatigue, but she actually greeted him back first. Then it hit her, there was an edgy teenager in her room. That's when Yumi finally panicked. It took a while to calm down. She asked Kai why he was there. Kai explained their struggle. He told her Midu and the class were struggling on the front. They desperately needed her skill, the divine protection of water manipulation. To overcome this situation, Kai had snuck into her room. Even though she quit the party, Kai saw potential in her. He saw the qualities of a proper fighter hidden deep inside her. He believed she secretly wanted to rejoin her friends all along. Leonora is no longer an issue because Kai's bullets took care. Trust me, you and I are about to see her return in style. All right, let's jump back in as time finally heals the wounds in her heart. Turns out Kinuda was also a disaster as a waitress, constantly smashing plates. The truth was she had been itching to help Nagase and the others. She looked into Kai's eyes and knew lying was absolutely pointless right now. Honestly, she was pretty shocked a classmate was paying this much attention. Kai quickly set things straight, saying he was just looking for a pawn. Kenosha ignored that cold remark and asked how he could join the party. Since he is technically a wanted criminal, Kai cannot officially join the army. But being the group's secret shadow, he doesn't need a clean slate. Just like that, Kai has another perfect piece ready on his master board. Kinoshita was hyped, ready to prove her water power could make a difference. Kaki, still her usual quiet self, listened in on every single word. Stick with me here, even with the plan, Kaki is feeling pretty shaky. She wonders if Kinoshita's water power is enough to break the enemy's defense. Since Kai is not fighting, it is up to the class to plan. His only advice, just adapt to whatever chaos happens on the field. Before leaving, Kai also sends a message to Midu with a big challenge. He wants to see how much everyone has truly grown while he was away. Back at Fort Arl, Midu approaches Kaki to confirm their strategy once more. They really cannot afford to get beaten again, so they refine every detail. From a distance, Mir and Kai watch and listen to the group's preparations. Mir wonders if these kids can pull it off, despite Kai's better plan. He is taking a backseat because people don't grow if always coached. With the Demon King as the goal, his classmates need to step up. They have the power, but they are currently terrible at using their gifts. For this war, Kai will only give tiny hints now and then. Now pay attention. What matters in battle is making your own decisions. Meanwhile, the demon soldiers of Fort Arl were already set up, manning defenses. Thousands of human soldiers, flying the flag of the kingdom, stood at gates. Captain Amelia took charge as the commander for this second massive human attack. At her command, the kingdom's soldiers bravely pushed into the demon-held base. The demons on the front lines just laughed at these weak humans. They thought the army hadn't learned a single thing from their last defeat. Amelia rallied her troops to clear a path for the hero candidates. As for the demons, their orders were simple: kill every single invader. War quickly turned into total chaos, but the hero candidates steadily pushed forward. Midu could sense their ultimate enemy waiting high up in the fort tower. The heavenly king, Stone Gaia, was not the type to hide away. Instead, he loved flashing his golden grills while taunting his enemies from afar. Midu could feel the demon inviting them back into his territory again. He did not want to be disappointed twice. It was time for battle. After fighting through demon foot soldiers, the hero candidates reached the gate. Boom! Arashi's explosion skill was super useful for blowing apart those locked doors. Inside, the party found the massive golem Stone Gaia had crafted earlier. And trust me, that's when Midu declared their plan had officially started. Let's dive into a fight with everything on the line. Two figures watched the battle through a crack in the ceiling. It was Kai and Mare. Kai was ready to see how much these kids had improved since he departed. The hero candidates jumped into formation, with Midu and Arashi leading the charge. Massive stone golems stood in their way. Midu raised his glowing sword, officially starting their second attempt at this Stone Ga raid. Riina worried this battle was too intense for Yumi, who just rejoined the front lines. She looked nervous, but she didn't back down. Mid-rush, she unleashed her divine energy, flooding the entire battlefield with water. With the field soaked, those golems were struggling. Stone Gaia watched a massive wave crash over his entire army. The tide had finally turned. Now watch closely as Arashi dives into action, fists flying. Arashi's punches were literally exploding, perfect for taking down those massive, stationary targets. Midu's blade wasn't the best choice, but he compensated. His raw power, technique, and pure talent were undeniable. All the other hero candidates held their own. They had clearly mastered their unique blessings. They might look like side characters, but these background heroes definitely knew how to crush golems. That's all that mattered in this clash. After the initial collision, every single golem was dumped into the shallow pool below. Stone Gaia immediately flooded his army with energy, trying to force a reconstruction, but those wet stone joints made rebuilding impossible. You and I can see their strategy is working perfectly. Stone Ga didn't seem too worried, though. He was just irritated that these humans brought a water user along. So he grabbed his gear and summoned his remaining weak puppet minions. High on the ceiling, Mare and Kai were watching closely. Mare was actually the mastermind behind this entire operation. She had realized that stone joints were vulnerable to water, making the golems impossible to control. Seeing the advantage, Midu shouted for his allies to strike harder. They had the momentum now. Yumi was feeling confident and led the next wave of attacks. Yumi summoned a massive flood that swept the leftover golems away. Narumi and the others quickly moved into striking range. Up close, the golems were massive, towering over everyone, but the team didn't flinch. They had the winning formula. Stone Gaia actually smirked. He praised their plan to clear out the minions first. He acknowledged the clever strategy. Then he touched the ground, and several magic circles erupted around him. The Heavenly King unleashed jagged boulders from the circles. He saw his golems as disposable puppets meant to exhaust weaklings. Now Stone Ga was ready to show his true power. He sent the stones flying at the hero candidates, who froze in terror. Luckily, some could still fight back. Hashimoto quickly used her mental powers, stopping the rocks from crushing the entire team. Stone Gaia definitely didn't expect his control over the rocks to be hijacked. Then Kaki stepped in, using her domination skill to freeze the Demon King in his tracks. A binding ability like that was a total game changer. With Stone Gaia paralyzed, Arashi charged in. Ready to strike with an explosion, but a mud wall blocked him. Watch what happens next. Stick with me here, that mud just swallowed the explosion hole. Now, it is just a tense standoff between Arashi and Stone Gaia. Stone Gaia just smirks, bragging that this much power could never break his defense. But then, Midu flickers. He teleports right to the giant demon's blind side. His blade glows with a blinding light, ready for a lethal strike. Stone Gaia draws his blade and easily blocks the surprise attack. Even under Kaki's heavy pressure, the demon is still fighting back. Hashimoto is not done yet, hurling those massive telekinetic boulders at him. Narumi jumps in too, swirling his wind magic into the chaotic fray. He conjures multiple wind lances, a massive power-up from his previous form. Now Stone Gaia is pinned. Explosions in front, a swordsman on his side. Projectiles are flying from every angle, making escape almost impossible now. Yet, the Demon King is still acting completely untouchable. He slams down a massive stone wall, forcing everyone to back off. Yumi is not letting this chance slip, not when they are this close. She gathers every drop of energy and releases a massive water blast. Pay attention here, this high-pressure stream absolutely shatters that stone wall. The impenetrable defense is gone, turned into nothing but a soggy mess. Turns out, his stone body loses all its hardness once it is wet. Mine is a different story, working with a totally unique mechanic. With the target exposed, Midu charges in for another brutal round. Arashi joins the fray, ensuring they land a devastating combo hit. Blades and explosions collide, nearly sending the demon straight to hell. But you do not become a legendary defender without serious grit. Even with everyone attacking at once, he thinks he can tank it. Gaia's armor is crumbling. He has finally been pushed to his limit. The Heavenly King decides to gamble everything on one final, massive strike. The ground shatters under his power, nearly knocking our heroes down. But in that chaos, Kai's sharp eyes spot the perfect opening. He flings a dagger straight through the demon's massive forehead. Just like that, another heavenly demon falls for the last time. You saw that too, right? A total kill steal. Stone Gaia's massive corpse slams down, right in front of the candidates. Seeing the boss finally dead, the entire class erupts in celebration. Everyone starts cheering for Midu and Arashi, thinking they are the winners. But both fighters know the truth. They did not land the final blow. They realized someone else intervened at the very last possible second. Arashi inspects the body and finds a blood-stained throwing knife. He picks it up, immediately knowing exactly who threw that blade. The realization hits him, and honestly, it just makes him furious. Midu looks up toward a small crack in the ceiling above them. He is sure Kai did it. Arashi still cannot stand that guy. Narumi walks over to the heroes, flashing a huge, happy grin. Midu forced a smile, knowing he was not the one who saved them. Trust me, you and I must see what happens next. All right, stick with me. You're about to see how close these students came to a wipeout. Midu felt that insane mana and realized their tactics were just child's play. Kai had to jump in. Hashimoto saw Midu's glum face despite the victory. She told him to quit sulking and join the others in celebrating. He wanted to explain everything, but she didn't give him a single chance. What mattered was that one of the 4 legendary heavenly kings had fallen. This was a massive achievement worth celebrating. Midu was swept into the crowd. Seeing the happy faces and triumphant grins helped him appreciate the win. A dub is a dub, no matter how you actually manage to get it. Now pay attention to Arashi, who just couldn't smile about this unearned credit. His group was totally clueless, just screaming and cheering for their boy. Arashi told his friends to shut it. He wasn't the one who won. He made it clear that he didn't actually defeat the Demon King himself. One buddy saw the action, but just figured it was a stolen hit. Still, the whole team worked together. Midu grabbed Stonga's severed head. He climbed the watchtower and held it high for every single person. He shouted that the Heavenly King of Earth had finally been taken down. He commanded the remaining demons to surrender in their fallen commander's name. The monsters were paralyzed with shock the moment they saw that head. Their master was gone. Captain Amelia saw the opening and let out a massive battle cry. This sent morale skyrocketing for every human fighter left on the field. Heinrich was looking rough, but he was relieved the hero candidates won. Soon, humans took back control of Fort Arl, a vital strategic location. Meanwhile, Kai and Mir were still watching everything from the shadows. Mir wondered how the humans won when the numbers were basically equal. You and I both know the answer. The demon army relies on leaders. When a general falls, their entire organized resistance just completely falls apart. He pointed out this is exactly what happened when they defeated Vimberg. After he fell, not a single demon even tried to chase them anymore. Kai saw this dependence as a massive fatal flaw for the demons. Mir then asked if Kai should have even landed that final blow. His whole plan was supporting the class, but he really had no choice. Stonga's final form unleashed an insane, overwhelming amount of pure killing intent. And you and I both know if Kai hadn't stepped in, they'd all be dead. Plus, he was just doing his job as an assassin, after all. He hoped Midu and the others would eventually understand his secret actions. He sounds cold, but he's actually super protective of his friends' lives. Quickly changing the subject, Kai told her to just call him Kai. Mir was caught off guard, blushing hard and stumbling over her words. She quietly asked if she could really call him by his name. He said that was fine, then watched as her face turned redder. She tried to play it cool, but it wasn't working at all. She tried to act cool, but it failed. Kai has now taken out 2 of the 4 heavenly kings, meaning half the generals are gone. Trust me, you and I must watch for the demon king's descendants. And remember, they are just as tough as Isabel, the journey to the demon king. Stick with me, you and I are about to see this story take a turn. We shift to a different place, where a beastkin maiden is being hunted by enemies. She is beaten up and covered in wounds, but her feisty spirit is still shining. The demons chasing her admire her courage, but her body is hitting its limit now. Suddenly, a young demon shares some massive news. He finally caught the princess today. He finally caught her. Now, the Beastmen Federation is completely finished for good. Jump forward 1 week after they defeated the Heavenly King of Earth. Everything changed. Fort Eris is a human stronghold, and the whole kingdom is celebrating their victory. The army's win brought everyone's spirits back to life. The city is buzzing with hope. The knights are hyped up, and the hero candidates have become legends to everyone. Watch this part closely. The king personally thanks Medu for his incredible work. He personally thanks the class leader for his awesome work during the fortress battle. Medu gets a massive reward. He is now a lord and an official knight. But once he leaves the throne room, he just wants tea with his friends. Hashimoto thinks it is hilarious that their brave leader was so nervous in court. Amelia starts teasing him too. Heinrich understands why he felt so much pressure today. Medu is no expert on noble manners. Good thing he got that etiquette lesson. This made his meeting with the king go as smoothly as possible. Medu succeeded. He did not want to disrespect the king or ruin things for his entire class. But Heinrich thinks Medu is getting way too involved in messy kingdom politics now. As an official knight, he has responsibilities. Like it or not, life is changing. Heinrich knows every detail about noble society, so he is the perfect coach. Everyone knows the church holds the real power. This new knighthood is massive. It was even ordered by the Pope himself, so about that new rank. Medu is now the captain of the 11th Knight Corps. This squad is powerful. This squad will be called the Heroes Corps. It is packed with hero candidates. I know what you're thinking. And yeah, this squad is basically a dream team. Medu wonders if this title actually matters, or if he is just a puppet. Heinrich says explaining the secrets of state power would take way too long today. But either way, Medu is now on the same level as other captains. Out on the edge of the fort, Mayor and Kai meet with Kenzaki. Kenzaki adds that Medu was the one who pushed for this position of authority. Mayor figured it was just a promotion, but the kingdom has hidden plans here. They want to turn Medu into a symbol for everyone to look up to. This also proves that the kingdom controls every single one of the hero candidates. Bottom line, this is bad news. Luckily, Kai stays focused on his goal. He just wants to get home. He feels the kingdom and Leonora are similar. Both sides see these hero candidates as nothing more than disposable pawns in war. Before they split up, Kenzaki finally asks who the elf girl really is today. Kai casually introduces Mayor. Kenzaki takes one look and starts feeling a bit jealous. She instantly feels that her best girl title is in some serious danger now. Mayor quickly clears things up, saying they are just travel buddies for the moment. But when the questions get deeper, things start to get awkward for our hero. Trust me, you and I will have to see what happens next time. Alright, let's see how this awkward reunion goes, as Kaki totally fumbles her words here. She claims they're friends, but Kai, being his usual blunt self, immediately shuts that down. Friend, no, collaborator, much better. Surprisingly, Kaki actually finds that title more fitting. Back in their old world, they weren't even close, so this new dynamic feels more honest. Anyway, Kai knows the heroes are hunting the Demon King, so he's staying hidden. Just like before, he'll strike from the shadows, making Kaki his secret messenger to the group. Before Kai moves to his next target, Kaki begs to join him on the journey. Kai gives her a quick once-over, before flat-out saying no to her request. But secretly, he needs her. She's his eyes and ears to keep everyone else in check. Plenty of candidates hate his methods, so having Kenzaki's loyalty is actually super important. Playing the classic tsundere role she accepts, she's the only one who knows the truth. She knows the class leader respects Kai, even if nobody else sees it yet. Kai just hopes Midu makes the right calls. The kid's growth is absolutely vital. Stick with me, this is where we see Kai's master plan for the Demon King finally unfold. He's no fool. He knows taking down the Demon King's entire army isn't a solo mission. Sure, he and Mir crushed Wimberg, but let's be real, that victory was way too close. Kenzaki's mind is blown when Kai casually mentions he's already taken out another Heavenly King. Mayor's cheerful story about defeating the Heavenly King of the Wind doesn't exactly help Kaki's nerves. Hearing how easily they took down such a monster just makes the gap between them feel massive. The other heroes could barely handle Stone Gaia, yet Kai did it with just one partner. Kaki can sense there's something truly special about Mir, an aura she just can't match. Comparing herself to the elf, she realizes her own contribution earlier was basically nothing. But then Kai drops a bomb. There are enemies out there way stronger than the four kings. You and I both know Kai is strong, but even he admits they're not ready yet. Her mission is clear: keep a close eye on their classmates and the kingdom's every move. Kai promises to stay in touch, giving her a purpose she's actually excited about. She takes on this new role, determined to prove her worth to the man she admires. Before disappearing, Kai tells Midu he's going to end this war on his own terms. Mir happily waves goodbye as the two head off, leaving Kaki with a fire in her soul. That talk changed everything for her. She refuses to just be some background character anymore. It's time to get stronger. Meanwhile, the Holy Kingdom launches a massive counteroffensive. With Stone Gaia gone, the army invades demonic lands, their morale boosted by the new heroes. They push forward with insane momentum, reclaiming territory that was lost years ago. Fort after fort falls as the Holy Kingdom marches toward Urugano Mountain and New City. This sudden conquest only happened because two heavenly kings were wiped out so fast. Without Wimberg handling their supplies and logistics, the demon army is literally falling apart. The kingdom is celebrating, but they have no idea Kai is the one behind it all. With the campaign over, the heroes return home to a massive party and a hero's welcome. Narumi is already diving into the booze, ready to drink until he passes out. The victory banquet is wild. Here, 15-year-olds are adults who can drink freely. Hashimoto lectures Narumi about drinking, then immediately steals the bottle for herself. Midu just chuckles, but you can tell he's not feeling the party vibe like the others. He's still wearing his combat gear, always on guard, even in the middle of a celebration. While everyone else relaxes, he's looking ahead. Makes you wonder what he's really thinking, right? He's still in his gear, showing he's not relaxed. Riina picks up on it. Stick with me, let's see if this victory was actually a total, lucky fluke. Some noticed the demon army's command was a mess, but Midu was still suspicious. This win felt way too easy for comfort. He feared a hidden enemy trap. Riina laughed it off, calling him paranoid and saying the demons were just idiots. But Midu knew better. They only won because Kai helped from the dark shadows. Riina refused to believe that edgy loner could pull off something so massive alone. Kaki got upset by that and immediately jumped in to defend the guy's honor. She explained while they fought in front, Kai was gutting the enemy's entire rear. Their victory only happened because Kai slaughtered a whole heavenly king right there nearby. He totally wrecked their defenses before the actual battle even really kicked off. Most people were still doubting her, but Midu could tell she was being honest. Narumi felt uneasy knowing such a powerful, dangerous ally was hiding in their shadows. Riina was the biggest skeptic, totally refusing to admit Kai beat a strong boss. Arashi got pulled in, looking annoyed these kids were interrupting his fried chicken feast. Remembering the lethal blade that finished Stone Agya, he just kept on chewing. He didn't want to talk about Kai, he just wanted to eat his meal. Hashimoto argued that even if Kai helped, they still couldn't forgive his past crimes. Midu walked away from the petty talk and quietly asked Kaki for Kai's location. She didn't have his coordinates, but knew he was hunting the Demon King alone. Now pay attention, you and I are heading right into the demonic heart. Deep in a thick forest, Kai found himself totally surrounded by a pack of orcs. He stood his ground, waiting for those green brutes to make the first move. Dodging these mindless, aggressive creatures was practically a walk in the park for our guy. When another orc lunged, Kai blinded him with a nasty shot of pocket sand. The brute didn't expect a dirty trick like that, and Kai took the opening. After taking the hit, Kai tried to blast them with a thundershock spell. But he wasn't skilled enough yet. The magic failed, leaving him open for attack. A massive club swing came screaming toward his head. This was almost game over. Luckily, a wave of fire wiped out the whole orc group in an instant. Even so, Kai scolded Mayor for going overboard with her massive firepower again. She fired back, saying she wouldn't have helped if his thundershock hadn't been a flop. Magic was tough, even after all the work he'd put into mana control lately. You and I both know thunder is a rare element, but it's pure chaos. It's fast and lethal, but trying to control it is like taming a storm. Statistically speaking, him even forming these spells was nearly impossible. If he just had divine protection for his element, he'd be an unstoppable beast. Still, he needed to keep practicing how to use thunder during high-speed fights. Maybe he messed up earlier, because that orc in front of him broke his concentration. To cast magic properly, you need a crystal-clear mental image of the power used. That's why mages usually stay far back. It's too hard to focus in brawls. But Kai was different. He needed to mix magic with close quarters, daggers, and melee. He knew he'd need totally new and wild powers to beat the Demon King. Mixing high-level spells with his daggers was the only way he'd truly get stronger. He is pushing himself to the limit to prepare for the final showdown ahead. Trust me, you and I are about to see him reach a whole new level. You and I are about to see why having the Sage's Disciple as a guide is a total cheat code. While Mar was acting cute, Kai's instincts suddenly screamed that something nasty was closing in fast. Suddenly, a whole pack of orcs surrounded them from every side. Coming at them from everywhere, but for Kai, this was actually a great opportunity. With the whole tribe showing up, he finally had enough targets to practice on. Moments later, the monster crowd got even bigger. It wasn't just orcs. Every type of beast and demon crawled out to join in. Hideous monsters poured in from every direction, each one worse than the last. Kai didn't care about numbers. He just wanted to get some thundershock practice in. Pay attention here, his spell finally clicks, sending a bolt of thunder into his enemies. But besides a flashy zap and some noise, it didn't do real damage. It scorched some skin, but it was nowhere near strong enough for a kill. At least he used it in a real fight. Even if the impact was zero. An orc tried a sneaky sideswipe, but Kai just danced out of the way. He vaulted into the trees. Putting on a display of speed, these monsters couldn't track. While they were busy staring up, they completely missed the lethal rain of blades falling from the sky. Every single dagger found its mark, taking down orcs in one messy strike. Kai's mana-infused daggers were his bread and butter, thrown with pinpoint accuracy. And devastating force, magic, that was still a serious work in progress. While he was lost in thought, a massive white ape tried to drop him. Huge mistake. Soon, its blood was painting the entire forest floor. That ape was light work for him, just one quick, clean decapitation. Kai held onto a branch, realizing the trouble was only just getting started. Flying monsters were swooping in, so he dropped to the ground to engage. He waited for the opening, then shredded every flyer with laser-sharp focus. Afterward, Kai vanished into the canopy, using the height to put distance between the beasts. But a clever monster used its raw strength to bring his tree crashing down. The sheer number of enemies was getting insane. It was tough to track everything, but Kai stayed totally calm. Deep in the pack, you and I can see a boss monster finally appearing. Finally, Kai had a perfect test subject to try out some new moves. He gripped his daggers, his eyes already mapping the path to victory. Nearby, Mir was unleashing chaos, blasting everything in sight non-stop. She was spamming destruction spells at the never-ending waves of monsters. With her massive mana pool, she was fine, but Mir wanted to escape. If they stayed, they'd just be worn down. Luckily, Kai totally agreed. They began to retreat, but Kai made sure to leave his mark first, painting the ground red. The duo took off, pushing their speed. It wasn't just numbers, the levels of these creatures were through the roof. That is exactly what happens when you wander too deep into demon territory. High-tier demons control lower monsters here, making this land a death trap. They kept running until they hit a massive roadblock, a sheer cliff edge. Looking down, the entire demonic kingdom was sprawled out under the midnight sky. Trust me, you and I wouldn't want to be stuck in this place. All right, you and I are jumping right back into the chaos as monsters swarm the lines. Things finally kicked off. Riding high on their last win, the kingdom launched a new offensive. Their goal: seize even more demon territory. They were feeling unstoppable after their last victory. But this time, they walked straight into a nightmare. As the army marched through the woods, it wasn't demons blocking their path. It was a massive, relentless wall of monsters. These creatures were on a whole different level, both in their sheer numbers and raw strength. They had never seen anything like this. While the hero candidates and elite knights held firm, the regular soldiers were getting slaughtered. They just couldn't keep up with the intense power scale. Commander Amelia tried desperately to protect her forces with clever formations, but it wasn't enough. They were being completely overwhelmed. Heinrich was the very first person to admit the truth. They were totally outmatched, and the scary part, the demons hadn't even joined the fight yet. It was obvious someone powerful was lurking nearby, pulling the strings and controlling every single monster. Now watch closely, because Medu just realized someone much more dangerous is controlling this massacre. She was exactly right. A high-ranking demon was indeed the mastermind behind this entire bloodbath. Her name was Elsa, and her goal was simple: break humanity's military power once and for all. She didn't care how many monsters died. To her, they were just disposable tools for victory. Once the human army was exhausted, the real demon attack would begin. And that moment, it just arrived. The Demon King's main army stepped forward, casting a shadow over everything. Medu didn't hesitate. She instantly warned the commander that they needed to get out of there. Commander Amelia realized the truth too late. They had been completely outsmarted and totally outgunned. Their only hope for survival now was a desperate, full-scale retreat back to safety. But this escape came at a devastating price for the kingdom. Countless soldiers died protecting the rear. Even the demons were shocked by how it happened. They hadn't expected the humans to be this weak. The demons had actually been over-prepared. It only took one push to send the humans running. The demon soldiers were ecstatic. They gave all the credit for this massive win to their brilliant and ruthless leader, Elsa. This huge victory meant humanity would definitely think twice before ever trying another invasion. They would be terrified of the demons' true power. Plus, the demons had a new advantage. They just conquered the Beastmen Federation, meaning they could now focus entirely on the human war. The demon soldiers were absolutely certain they would win this war without any more trouble. You saw that coming, right? Well, Mayor and Kai were watching the entire battle from afar. They had been busy gathering intel on the beastmen, and the news was definitely alarming. Kai, being the absolute information addict he is, wanted to dig even deeper into this. He needed to know everything. Back on the human side, the Holy Kingdom's army limped back. They retreated to the nearest human settlement. Medics worked non-stop to treat the endless wounded. Thousands were injured. Meanwhile, the military leaders gathered to figure out what went so wrong. They had successfully reclaimed the borderlands, but their luck ran out at the gate. The second they stepped into demon territory, they were utterly crushed by Elsa's forces. Things were looking grim. They were desperate for any plan that could turn this around. Their biggest hurdle was figuring out how to survive those endless, massive waves of monsters. If they couldn't find a solution, pushing back into enemy territory was just a pipe dream. They were shocked that the demons were now using such advanced military skills and tactics. In the past, the Demon King's army fought with zero strategy, just raw, mindless force. But now, it looked like they were finally taking humanity as a serious threat to them. And we're just getting started. All right, you and I are watching them face a genius high-ranking demon. This monster commander was the mastermind behind every single brutal attack. Scouts thought cutting through the monster forest was possible, but it's a trap. The woods are massive, with only a few paths hiding deadly surprises. Moving an entire army through that mess, that's basically a suicide mission. Some knights suggested they should fall back and rethink their strategy. They had successfully reclaimed territory, but the cost was way too high. The losses were stacking up, and they only had themselves to blame for pushing. They went too far after winning. Their high morale, that's ancient history now. Their only real edge was gone. That's when Hashimoto finally spoke up. He reminded everyone that the Demon King was still their ultimate target. But if taking him down was easy, they wouldn't be in this mess. Now pay attention. Hashimoto's solution was to just recruit even more soldiers. The problem? More people just means a slower army and even more deaths. Padding the numbers won't help. It's just more people getting hurt, honestly. Midu had a better plan. Forget the numbers, they needed special elite forces. Amelia agreed instantly. Their current group already had the best fighters. Training elites was their best bet. It would skyrocket their survival rates. It'll take time, but it's the only way. The knights were down, but Midu felt something was seriously off here. See, the kingdom's goals and what the heroes wanted were miles apart. Midu and his crew wanted to kill the Demon King and go home. But the Holy Kingdom, they were way more focused on fixing their own issues. The top knights just wanted to keep the status quo, too scared to move. Hinrich noticed Midu's stress and told him to just say what was up. Think about this for a second. Their talk made it sound like this war lasts years. Killing the Demon King would take years, and they couldn't wait that long. Amelia estimated they'd need 2 whole years just to recover their full strength. Everyone wanted a fast victory, but the raw power just wasn't there yet. The knights were actually satisfied, just holding the land's humanity had won back. Midu saw their point. The majority had already decided to play it safe. But he couldn't stop worrying about his classmates and how they'd handle it. He knew they were desperate to go back to their own world, and fast. As the meeting ended, Midu, Hashimoto, and Hinrich walked out together. Heinrich, the noble captain, could see the frustration written all over Midu. He explained that Amelia's choices were always about what the kingdom needed first. To change anything, they needed influence they simply didn't have yet. Hinrich warned Midu not to rush. He was being blunt but looking out. The captain asked him point-blank if he actually wanted to watch his friends die. Being impatient right now, that's just a one-way ticket to a total disaster. Even though the hero candidates were strong, they still had massive room to grow. It made more sense to sharpen their skills for one final, massive push later. Everyone was dying to return to their world. That was the one certainty. But getting slaughtered by demons is way worse than 2 more years of training. And trust me, you and I know how close it came. All right, you and I are about to see that Stone Gaia fight. And stay sharp, because the demon world is brutal. Birthing monsters even stronger than the heavenly kings. The king is gambling on these new heroes to level up fast. finally seeing the full picture. Midu accepts the mission and briefs the squad. For him, protecting his friends is the top priority always. Midu is now dead set on getting stronger. He promises to bring everyone home, whatever the cost may be. But telling the team they are stuck in this world even longer gets some pretty messy reactions. Instantly, the whole squad demands a timeline. Hashimo, looking totally stressed and awkward, reveals it will take at least 2 years. Yeah, 2 years is a massive wait, but way better than a suicide mission. But one guy hates this idea of playing it safe, Arashi. This guy is literally fuming and kicks the table right in front of him. He is done. Forget the plan. Arashi knows people might die anyway, so he demands they just go kill the demon lord now. If you are scared, stay behind. Midu snaps back, refusing to let anyone die on him. His way is the only safe way. Arashi snaps, stomps the floor, and lunges straight for Midu, calling him a coward. Pay attention, Arashi is about to teach him a lesson. Midu instantly pulls his holy sword and flips to shield mode, protecting himself. The blow is stopped, but the impact triggers a massive explosion that wrecks the room. Smoke and debris fill everything. A voice shouts through the cloud, "You think that puny shield can stop me?" Midu won't back down, saying they need everyone to win. Especially after struggling against just one king. Training is their only real shot at surviving. Arashi, fist still raised, growls, "You really think you've won this?" Suddenly, chains erupt, pinning both of them down as Jin's voice tells them to freeze. They both look over, completely shocked. Jin screams at them to chill out before they level the entire castle. Midu backs off, apologizing to Kaki, but Arashi just rips the chains apart like paper. Jin complains about wasting his best magic. Arashi insists real power comes from combat, not sitting around training. "You and I know he has a point, pressure makes you grow." Murray steps up for Midu. Riina joins in too, asking if being safe isn't better than getting wiped out. Hiki likes it here, and Satoshi does not want to die because of some hothead. Then Carrie raises her hand, actually siding with Arashi. Riina is stunned. Carrie gets Midu's logic, but she just needs to get home fast. Yumi agrees, but Carrie starts tearing up. Confessing she has a sick mother waiting for her. Her mom is all alone in that bed. The image of her mother suffering by herself is what drives her. Tao also picks Arashi's side, mentioning the little sister he has to save. Their parents left them, and he's her only hope. Shiori looks down and, "Trust me, you and I can feel the weight here." She was worried, 2 years was too long to wait. Hearing this, the group felt heavy-hearted. Midu understood their pain. Then Narumi spoke up. He boisterously claimed he had 3 girlfriends and needed to get back home. Meyer rolled her eyes. Etsushi smiled, promising to stand by Arashi forever. Kina agreed instantly. Following Arashi was the only choice that made sense. Akira was torn, but seeing Midu's fear, he decided he had to act. He trusted Arashi's resolve. Arashi turned to face them. "Midu, it's over." Midu stayed silent, lost in thought. Arashi didn't wait and strode forward. He was confident, no more talking. He walked straight toward the door. "Anyone willing to die, follow me. I'm doing this on my own." His supporters followed immediately. Carrie also turned to leave the room. Riina and Yumi tried to stop her, but Carrie's mind was made. Closing her eyes, she apologized to Riina and chose to follow Arashi. The ones left behind watched with worry as the group walked away. Emre asked why Narumi stayed. He said they needed someone to coordinate. Jean was torn. He wanted to follow Arashi, but remembered Shinju's advice. He stayed behind. Meanwhile, outside, Kai and Mir appeared before the crowd. A voice yelled, asking what that bastard Kai wanted with them now. The crowd grew restless. Seeing Kai, there was the last thing they expected. Akira snapped at them to stay calm as they confronted the newcomer. Kai looked at them. Arashi warned him that they were out of time. "Listen, if you don't have a damn good reason for being here, you will pay." Now pay attention, because Kai's next words change everything for everyone here. He needed their strength. Arashi was stunned. Before this, Kai had been listening. Meyer had asked if his classmates would be okay after all the arguing. Kai wasn't sure, but their logic was sound. They couldn't do this alone. Miru was right, they needed more than just their own power. The kingdom's approach was too slow, but Arashi's way was far more dangerous. Waiting 2 years was out of the question, and Arashi had a point. Meyer asked Kai what he would do in this impossible situation. Stick with me, there are 3 ways to break this impossible situation. First, force the leaders of the Holy Kingdom to change their minds. Nothing else matters as long as Kai can finally return to his world. But Kai knew Miru would never agree to such a forceful plan. Meyer asked about the second path. Kai suggested following Arashi's guerrilla idea. Based on what Isabel told them, the Demon Kingdom was heavily divided. If they struck from behind, they could easily start a massive civil war. However, Kai doubted Arashi actually had the restraint to pull that off. Meyer agreed. Arashi was far too hot-headed for a subtle mission like that. The third option, gather more intel and find some new powerful allies. If they played their cards right, they'd force the demon army's hand. If everything works, it will force the demon army to finally act. By the fire, Kai sat with Arashi's group to plan their move. Arashi asked about the princess. You and I need to hear this answer. Stick with me, the cat tribe chief's daughter just got captured, and she is. All right, you and I are about to dive into a massive beast tribe conspiracy. Kai explains he got this intel by torturing demons. Yeah, he's that brutal. Hearing that makes the girl's skin crawl. To them, he's officially a monster. Akira's head is spinning. Who is this guy and how'd he get a pistol? Ino thinks Mir is actually pretty cute, while Arashi keeps chewing on his meat. He asks why this princess even matters and what they have to do with beastmen. Atsushi wonders if they have ears and tails, and Kinta is hyped to see. He thinks they'll be adorable, but Arashi just snaps and tells them to shut up. Now watch closely. Kai is about to drop a serious bombshell on the team. He asks if they know about the Beastmen Nation down in the Southern Territory. Akira recognizes it as the Grandana Federation, a strictly neutral land for now. Arashi doesn't buy it. Why would a bunch of cowards ever help us out? He calls them weak, but Mir steps in. Their soldiers are actually elite fighters. Their senses are sharper than humans, and they've held off demon armies before. So why stay so passive? Arashi can't wrap his head around their strange logic. Mir explains they aren't strong enough to wipe out the whole demon army alone. Since the demons focused on humans, the beastmen stayed out of the fire. But here's the main point. A joint alliance could actually win this war. Akira finally gets the picture. That's exactly why they need the cat princess. Kari asks if they just need to rescue her to use as leverage later. Basically, yes, Kai already has the information on their secret demon supply routes. But there's a catch. He needs the rest of the group to act as bait. While they cause a massive explosion, he'll be moving silently through the shadows. Akira is skeptical. Why hasn't the Holy Kingdom tried to make a deal yet? Kai likes the question. Mir explains the dark history between humans and beastmen. You and I see the problem. Humans have always oppressed the beast tribes. Because of that oppression, the beastmen have zero reason to trust any human. Carrie is worried. Getting them to cooperate sounds like it's going to be impossible. Luckily, the cat tribe princess is currently being held prisoner by the demons. That gives them the perfect opening. Beastmen never break a promise they make. If we save her, they'll be in our debt. The room goes totally silent. It's a long shot, but they don't exactly have a better plan right now. Arashi stands up, clearly pissed. He hates how Kai acts like a know-it-all. But Chayo reminds him that this one choice will decide if they all survive. Arashi struggles with it, gritting his teeth in pure frustration at their situation. Finally, he gives in. Fine, we will do this crazy plan your way. At dawn, the entire group starts heading south toward the Federation border. Carrie is still nervous. Are we really okay going this deep into enemy lands? Kai stays calm. The Federation is south, but the demons move prisoners north. They're heading for the forest road, right on the edge of demon territory. That's where we strike. Akira realizes they're basically walking into a death trap. They're literally infiltrating the demon kingdom. Is there any chance of failure? Kai just smiles. He's confident they'll make it through without being spotted. He reassures the whole team that everything is going according to his vision. And trust me, you and I are about to witness something absolutely legendary. All right, stick with me. You and I are diving into a world of pure danger. It is rough going, and with monsters everywhere, Akira wonders if the carriage will survive. Kai notes that safety is not guaranteed. If things get ugly, they need their skills. Tamoko is fired up, ready to show off what she can do. Her unique divine protection. It is literally multi-dimensional space. She checks with Kai. It has been ages, but does he still remember her power? He confirms it is impossible to forget such a special and rare ability. Tamoko looks thrilled. Kai then turns to address Shinju, who is his own alias. Have you been deep undercover in the Demon Kingdom since that last incident? Not quite. He has been hunting for any clue that might lead them back home. Shiori demands the details immediately. Kai reveals they only have one real choice. To take down the Demon Lord, they must follow his gathered plan to the letter. Akira realizes the intel is heavy. The Beast Tribe princess has been taken. A kidnapped princess, that is exactly the kind of mess Shinju finds. Arashi is losing his cool. Why are they strolling like they are on a Sunday walk? Now pay attention. This is the moment the group finally prepares for battle. Time to move. They ditch the carriage and stash the luggage to pick up speed. By nightfall, they are trekking on foot. Suddenly, Arashi senses something in the dark. Wolves, he shouts as a pack of ferocious night wolves surrounds the entire party. One lunges at Shiori's back, but Kai moves like lightning to block it. The beast bites down hard on Kai's arm, but its teeth just shatter. He smirks, his body is like steel, then he sends it flying with a punch. Akari takes charge. Support members get to the center and stay safe. The vanguards hold the line while she activates a support command to buff everyone. Glowing with power, the fighters step out to finish the job. Kari uses her control skills, summoning massive vines to ensnare the beasts. She commands them to stop. As the wolf tangles, Ino charges in fast. One clean strike finishes it, but another wolf is already midair toward Arashi. Check this out, Arashi catches the wolf by its neck like it is absolutely nothing. He calls it trash and triggers an explosion, charring the creature instantly. He tosses the carcass aside like garbage. Kai watches, impressed by the team's growth. They are handling this perfectly. Arashi is finally stepping up as a real leader. Kai tells them to let Hano handle any injuries they might have. Suddenly, Kai feels a presence. There is still one more lurking nearby. He calls for Mayu. A sharp-fanged wolf emerges from the shadows. Arashi is caught off guard. There is still one left, Mayu screams. A massive wave of fire incinerates the wolf instantly. Atsushi is totally stunned. Kino is hyped. That thing is roasted. Is she even stronger than Naga now? Arashi clicks his tongue, annoyed. Totally unnecessary move from Shinju's girlfriend. Mayu turns red as a beet, pointing at Kai and denying the whole thing. Kai stays cool. He tells Arashi to be grateful since she just saved him. Arashi looks suspicious. Mayu stares at Kai, hoping for a reaction, but he walks. He shrugs it off. Mayu claims she doesn't care either, but her face says otherwise. Atsushi is jealous, and Kenta wishes he could find a beautiful girlfriend here. Trust me, you and I need to see what happens next. All right, you and I are jumping right into a high-stakes mission, starting now. Mayu looks to Kai for help, but he remains completely cold and indifferent. Do what you want, he says, so she smiles and happily joins in. Kai feels relieved she is fitting in. Later, they are all waiting on a cliffside. Aragi is getting impatient, asking if the targets are even going to show up. Kai uses his appraisal eye to scan the ground below for any movement. He spots them. Don't worry, they are right where we want them to be. Now pay attention, because this demon army we are seeing is seriously dangerous. 3 low-level demons, 15 mid-level ones, and even more inside those carriages. Their leader is Zaganda, a 57-year-old high-ranking demon with scary power. His stats are top tier, featuring level 4 wind magic and dangerous fire spells. He even has enslavement magic. Arashi asks if this guy is the leader. Kai confirms it. This is definitely the big boss of this whole convoy. Don't underestimate him. He is not Stone Gear level, but he is still a beast. Arashi just scowls. Tell everyone to stay back or I will kill them. Kai just shrugs. Fine by me. I intended to let you handle him anyway. Our strategy is simple. Eraser will start by breaking their line with his skill. Once their formation crumbles, we will surround them and move in teams of 3. Kai continues giving orders. In Neo and Zanagi, you two have to protect Hano. The two acknowledge the plan. Oki, your job is to find the wounded. Escort them to safety. Oki replies that he has it under control. Mayu, you provide rear support. Eraser, your job is to kill the boss. Watch this while they fight. I will sneak in and rescue the princess. Once she is safe, I will signal. Everyone else adapt to the situation. If things go south, retreat immediately. But Arashi is feeling way too confident. He claims once the leader's head is gone, the rest will just scatter. Fine, Kai says. I will leave you in charge of the entire battle then. Some people in the crowd start grumbling about Kai, giving them all orders. Kinta shouts in agreement. Why is this guy acting like he is the boss? Atsushi points a finger. Don't you dare talk to Arashi like that. But Arashi is already furious. Shut up, you idiots, he screams at them. He knocks their heads together and tells everyone to follow the plan. Meanwhile, down with the demons, Zaganda is keeping a very close watch. His soldiers are already complaining about being tired and wanting a break. Zaganda yells at them to stay sharp. We are almost at our destination. Secretly, he is exhausted too. Leading an army like this is draining work. His back is killing him from the horse, but he cannot look weak. He needs an excuse to rest. I will go check on the prisoner girl. He tells his men to keep guard while he goes to investigate. The soldiers think he is just sneaking off to take a quick nap. Inside the carriage, the beast-woman Princess Sina is tied up and helpless. Zaganda enters and slumps down by the door, looking completely wiped out. He looks at Sina. We are almost at the city where you will be imprisoned. Your Federation soldiers cannot save you now. You are deep in enemy territory. You and I will see if she can survive this, right? Stick with me. This carriage ride is about to get incredibly bumpy. Don't sweat it. If the Federation follows orders, you're free. Sina shook her head. They'll never bow down just because I'm captured. Zaganda smirked. It seems you still don't understand your position, princess. She stayed defiant. If you think kidnapping me works, you're a total idiot. Zaganda's eyes flashed. Watch your mouth. He suddenly grabbed her shirt and ripped it open, shocking Sina. He then flicked his perverse tongue. Let me taste you, he hissed. Her gaze didn't flicker, as Zaganda reached out for more boom. A massive explosion suddenly rocked the entire carriage. Startled, he paused and pulled back the curtain. What's going on? A soldier reports an attack. It's humans. Zaganda looked genuinely worried. Humans? More explosions shook the carriage as he jumped onto his horse. Counterattack, don't back down. Both sides clash as Atsushi and Kinta attack relentlessly. Watch this while Kai and the others provide cover. Zaganda looks around anxiously. Am I losing? Then Arashi rolls his shoulders and steps forward. You're supposed to be a high-ranking demon. Zaganda summons his weapon. Who the hell are you? Arashi grinned and clenched his fists. I don't give my name to trash. Maybe if you put on a show. That insult enraged Zaganda. Shut up, you're nothing to me. He launches a devastating speed strike. Arashi leaps up with a punch, but Zaganda uses his spear to block it. You think that weak firepower can stop me? Arashi looks worried. Zaganda thrusts his spear, forcing him to jump back to a safe distance. He's strong, but not that other guy. I need more energy, but my mind blast drains me fast. I only have 7 shots left. If I overuse my power, my physical stats will tank. I just need to create an opening and aim for the head. He crouches low and plants his hand to set a trap. Meanwhile, Zaganda is thinking about these humans. I know what you're thinking. Are they hero candidates? Zaganda twirls his spear. If they actually defeated Windbox and Stoneware, then I need to be careful. How did they even find my location? They're here for the princess. Luckily, she's guarded. Zaganda's eyes harden. I have to end this right here now. I'll kill their leader first. He charges toward Arashi with insane speed. I'll finish this with one single lightning thrust. It's sudden, but Arashi barely dodges. Looking at his torn clothes, he's shocked by the demon's speed. Arashi refocuses on his target. Zaganda spurs his horse forward, right where Arashi wants him to be. He smiles, right in my minefield. Arashi triggers a mind blast. The explosion catches Zaganda completely off guard. What is this? His horse panics. Singed and shocked, Zaganda wonders if it's a trap skill. My vision is gone, Arashi charges. The blast was just the beginning. Trust me, he's got him right where. All right, you and I are about to see if a simple ambush can actually work. But Zaganda reacts in a flash. There you are, he screams, unleashing a massive gust of wind. Wind thrust. Arashi tries to move, but the blast catches him anyway, sending him flying backward. As he crashes down, his team panics, but Arashi forces himself up, clutching his aching stomach. Man, that stings. Everyone stay focused. Zaganda just scoffs at the young boy's struggle. You are out of energy to protect yourself. Zaganda shouts, though deep down, he is still uneasy. His animal instincts are screaming at him. He thinks he has finally cracked our hero's fighting style. He realizes Arashi uses explosive traps and can blow up anything he touches. It is dangerous. Zaganda steps forward, gripping his spear. As long as he keeps his distance, victory is his. Arashi looks him dead in the eye. So, you think you have me figured out, huh? Now, watch closely, because Zaganda is about to launch his next wind thrust. Arashi dodges, and Zaganda smirks. From this range, there is no way the kid can even touch him. Arashi calls out to him, "Think you have really decoded my style that easily?" Zaganda just smiles. It is obvious, you are constantly shifting around just to find an opening. Arashi raises his hand with a grin. Wrong, the one who is wide open right now is you. He triggers his skill, Cannon Blast. A massive beam of energy erupts, blinding the demon. Arashi pours everything into it. The resulting explosion is massive, leaving nothing but a giant crater. Zaganda is down, motionless. Blood spills from his mouth as the dust finally starts to settle. Arashi stands tall. Name, Eraser Sunsuk. Age 17. Protection level high. His primary power is Explosive Blast. He is extremely dangerous. He also has Mind Blast level 2 and Cannon Blast level 2. Physical strength is level 4. Mayu is completely stunned. She cannot believe he just soloed a high-ranking demon like that. Demon soldiers panic. Lord Zaganda is dead. Is the battle over already? Akira roars. Eraser took their leader down. Don't stop now, keep pushing the momentum. He activates his support buffs. Suddenly, everyone's weapons are glowing with massive amounts of extra damage. They launch a full-scale assault, tearing through the leaderless demon ranks like they are nothing at all. Meanwhile, Kai draws his daggers and heads toward a mysterious carriage, sitting alone on the battlefield. This has to be the one, he mutters, stepping forward to see what is inside. Let's see what happens next, because Kai is about to find more than he bargained for. He pulls the curtain back to find Princess Sina, battered and desperate. Are you here to help? Kai just looks at her. I am wondering that myself. He calmly draws a blade to cut her loose. She wipes her face, eyes narrowing. She wants to know what he is really after by saving her. He replies coldly, I want exactly what the demons wanted, and I am going to use you. Sina rubs her wrists, unimpressed. Well, at least you are honest about being a jerk, Kai. No reason to lie, he shrugs. Unless you would rather I pretend to be your knight in shining armor. Sina's hand drops. Fine, but if you are using me, then it is only fair that I fight back. Instantly, her hand transforms into a beastly demigod claw, covered in thick fur and razor-sharp nails. Her eyes turn cold as she lunges right at Kai's throat. Kai reacts instantly, leaping back just as her claws swipe the air. Sina goes into a full frenzy, swiping wildly while Kai dances around her every strike. Kai admits she is fast, but he is not backing down. Their weapons clash with a violent ring. So this is it, the raw power of a beast man. It is truly something else. He blocks her flurry with ease, When she starts to tire, he finally makes his move. Jolt. Bolts of lightning slam into Sina, her eyes widening in shock before she hits the dirt. And that is where we leave it, trust me. You and I just saw a masterclass in tactics. Stick with me, you're about to witness one human's insane power. Kai narrowed his eyes as Sina realized the massive gap between them. You have two paths, surrender and follow me or be forced to obey. Sina resigned, knowing she was outmatched. Fine, humans are better than demons anyway. Arashi's group pressed on. Erasure held the advantage as monsters fell one by one. Only one beast remained, shaking in fear and drenched in cold sweat. It realized it couldn't win. These people weren't human, they were absolute monsters. Arashi signaled Kairi Chainami, who immediately began weaving a complex magic circle. Glowing vines erupted from the ground, binding the creature's legs and slamming it down. Arashi approached the beast, gripping its chin with a cold, terrifying intensity. Now pay attention. Here is where he sends a message to the demon lord. We'll just blow his head off. Later, the group gathered around a campfire. They feasted on meat scavenged from a carriage. Kina took a huge, hungry bite. Kaori felt guilty, thinking they were basically robbing someone. Sina sat hesitantly nearby. Kai noticed and spoke up. Why aren't you eating? Sina was drooling but still trying to hold herself back. Is it really okay for me to eat this? Arashi just tore off another piece. It's been forever since we've had real food. Kai glanced over while sipping soup. We still need something from you. If you die of hunger, we're in trouble. Sina finally gave in, thanking them before diving into the meal with everything. You saw that face too, right? Good food really can be pure heaven. Hano's cooking is top tier. He turned red as the others praised his skills. Then the mayor asked the real question. Sina, how did the demons kidnap you? Sina went silent, thinking back to the moment she was captured while hunting. I ran into the demon lord's army while I was deep in Federation territory. Normally, demons would never be that far in. It was a complete surprise. Sina hesitated. Does that mean they knew exactly where to find me beforehand? Kai theorized that the demons were already planning a full-scale invasion of the Federation. Kidnapping her was just one part of their much larger, more sinister objective. Kaori asked why, and the girl beside her guessed they wanted world domination. Sina agreed, that's exactly their plan, but what do you humans want with me? Kai was blunt, we need you as a bargaining chip to secure a cooperation. We want to join forces with the Federation to take down the Demon Lord. Destroy the Demon Lord? Sina was shocked. Are you guys actually being serious right now? Arashi chimed in, explaining they had no choice if they wanted to go home. We can't return home until the Demon Lord is finally defeated. Sina finally understood. So, you're the hero candidates I've heard so much about. Kai asked if she would help them sincerely. It would make things much easier. Sina agreed, feeling she owed them her life after they saved her back there. Kai immediately threw cold water on her gratitude, saying they never intended to rescue her. Sina was stunned but didn't fight it. After all, they did feed her. Besides, to clear the demons out of the Federation, she needed some outside help. She had a strong intuition about what was really going on behind the scenes. I believe there's a traitor hiding among the high-ranking members of our Federation. So what do you and I make of this? A mole is revealed. Federation members are everywhere. Now, pay attention because we're wrapping this up for today. Now I need your take. How would you and I rate this story from 0 to 10?